beers and bets. Beers and bets. Beers and bets. Beers and bets. Beers and bets.
Let's ride.
Hey.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Baby.
Oh man, guys, I don't want this to be all about me. So I mean, if you guys want to hop in, let me know. But
At least the first 10, 15 minutes is all Broncos Chiefs.
That
Broncos finally beat the Chiefs. After 16 straight losses, the Broncos have conquered the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So Jimmy, just as long as you want, man. The floor is yours. Take it away.
remember on the show The Office, and I'm sure some of our viewers have like watched that show, and they sing that song to Michael Scott before he leaves. And it's like 10 million, 1,960 minutes,
Yes.
whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
How many bye it takes to be a year,
Yeah.
whatever the hell, however
been
long it
here,
goes.
whatever.
Yeah.
Since the Broncos have won or have beaten 2,965 days. Now, 2015. I don't know Katrina. I hadn't met her. Okay. I was living at my dad's. Brad probably didn't have a 4. You weren't even playing NHL at this time, dude. There's so much shit since that has changed. I think my hatred also since that day has had to have gone because we won the Super Bowl that year. So just toss that in there.
Yeah, because the Broncos won the Super Bowl when I was in college. So that tracks.
All right. Yeah, it was 2015. So yeah. So
Yeah.
but I'm saying, dude, like the shit that is oh my God. I almost am gonna cry, man. That was like the best day in the history of days. But we kicked the shit out of them. Defense showed up, dude. 16-game win streak was snapped, third longest in NFL history, but they just couldn't get enough to actually break it. They did an Andy Reid style thing. They got there, but just couldn't get that record. And again, he might have exploded had they done that. So whatever the fuck. Snapped a 29-game streak where Mahomes threw a touchdown pass, longest active streak. I mean, the defense came to play. They were fired up, and God, it was so great, man, to just shut them down. I think Kelsey was 5 for
57, something like that. Maybe 6 for 50 something. Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, and this is a betting thing. So I won the bet on that one, but also new money was safe when you get a text from our parlayer up here, we're odds, and then he says, I'm about to put on my Mahomes jersey, and sends me a picture with a mug, a Kansas City Chiefs
this mug.
Yeah.
That I stole it at a tailgate last week.
Stole somebody's Chiefs.
I didn't intentionally steal it, but it ended up in my pocket. I was doing laundry.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing laundry at Arrowhead, or after a week at Arrowhead, and come home with this fucker. But I was giving you shit before the game.
That's when I knew money was good, man. I knew I was. You
knew you were on the right side when I start talking shit before the game.
Rodzen's betting on them. All right, man, let's go. And also, I think he had 16 straight wins against AFC West opponents on the road.
AFC West on the road. That was his first road division loss, which is impressive.
And who did it to him?
But the Broncos knocked him off.
How fitting. So I'm wearing a darker shirt today. I didn't want to go full black because it shows off my arms too much. But but it's a rest in peace to those streaks and to their dominance. It's starting to fade a little bit, man. I mean, hey, I'll tell you, the illegal procedures are getting annoying on big plays for the Broncos, but I think that's a result of bad play, like just bad players. And I think Sean Payton's influence definitely has been shown. We've played them twice and given up 19 the first game and then 9 yesterday, or whatever it was. So I mean,
so they're averaging like 13 points a game against your defense. Yeah,
and you can tell who they game plan for. Like maybe not, we get blown out. The Dolphins game was a little odd, but I mean, we see them looking human too. So I don't know. Judy had 2 huge catches, which even if he gets traded, I think that was good for us.
No, Sean Payton came out and said they're not trading anybody. He said they're not trading anybody.
All right. Well,
They're sticking with what they got. Maybe
well, and we're 3-5.
Who knows,
dude.
man?
That looks
3-5.
2-6. 2-6 looks.
you're in the hunt. You're in the hunt when they start showing those graphics on
2-5.
Fox and CBS, playoff teams, playoff picture, and there's the in the hunt list of like 6 teams.
Well, everybody's
Definitely in there.
Outside of New England, every single team is in pretty much.
Yeah,
in the AFC, right?
Yeah, is there a worse team in the AFC record-wise than the Patriots?
No, because let's say Vegas. If Vegas loses tonight, I think they go to 3-5. So that means after the top 5 teams, everybody in the AFC, with the exception of New England, is between 4-3 and 3-5.
Wow.
Like Denver's not out.
Yeah.
You know, you look at like Chargers are 3-4.
The
Tennessee's
Chargers are ready
3-4.
to make a run, man. We might get to them next week. I don't think we need to talk about them much right now.
Nah.
But
Russ, baby.
Here's where it was impressive though, Jimmy, because I did bet the Chiefs -6. I bet the Chiefs to cover the spread, not only win, but cover the spread. And the Broncos go into half winning 14-9. The Broncos get the ball to start the second half. They have an incredible drive. The Broncos have an 8-minute drive, get it all the way down to like the Chiefs 25-yard line or so. Have to settle for a field goal. Field goal gets blocked by Justin Reed. You could tell me he jumped off sides. It was close. It was very close to him jumping early. It was a good field goal block. But the Chiefs block the field goal, get it back. Kansas City drives down to the Broncos, 30, 35-yard line, 4th and 2, big 4th and 2 play. Mahomes takes the shot to Sky Moore in the end zone. Sky Moore doesn't come up with the ball. So after like a deflating play where you have for the Broncos, they have a long drive. Chiefs get the ball back, drive. Chiefs go for it on 4th down in Broncos territory, and you get that stop. I thought that was huge because that could just be deflating in a way, having an 8-minute drive to start the second half with a lead and then get a field goal blocked. And then Mahomes goes down and scores a touchdown, and all of a sudden they're losing. That would have been like, that could have turned the tables. And props to the defense for stopping them on 4th and 2. And then
they're
the Chiefs
built to beat Kansas City. When you say, I mean,
I don't think they have the pass rush to say that. I don't think the Broncos have the pass rush. They've come up with good game plans.
Secondary, they can overcome it. Because if you saw the adjustment from the last time they played to this time, Benito really didn't rush the passer that many times. They relied on Browning and Cooper more. Benito spied Mahomes almost the whole game. And when you got like a Justin Simmons or a Patrick Surtain on Kelsey, and you're kind of just spying Mahomes, nobody has emerged on that Kansas City team to beat you.
And that's exactly what the game plan was to sit back and play coverage and not let Mahomes beat you running the ball. That's what their game plan was, and it totally worked because there were so many plays where you'd see Mahomes back there and he would have like 5 seconds, 7 seconds to find somebody and throw the ball to, and he really couldn't.
There was no.
And that's if Kelsey doesn't come open, nobody else on that receiving core can seem to get open. And the Chiefs, unless Rashee Rice or one of those young receivers starts making those like improv plays where Mahomes scrambles and somebody breaks open, if one of those receivers can't do that, they're not going to get it done this year. They're not. Like they just.
How exciting could this Denver defense be in a couple weeks? I know their bye was early, but you figure they finally had early picks. They had the bye
now.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
I worry about their pass
their
rush.
First and second rounder. I guess I'm worrying about pass rush, but I'm looking at Benito is hands down their best pass rusher.
Yeah.
I think it's Browning. I think it's Browning.
I think
they have a bunch
stats
of
say Benito.
Cooper also,
but anyway,
they got some guys that can.
My point more is after the bye, you got a first and a second round pick out of Iowa, linebacker Drew Sanders and corner Riley Moss. But if you can mix in, that's clearly those are talented guys to get drafted that high, and those are Sean Payton team guys.
Drafted guys.
He drafted them. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you can add that kind of talent influx, I understand why they're maybe not looking to trade away this is a team that's looking to maybe push.
I get it. It was when we were talking about the Caucasian middle linebacker or the linebackers.
I gotta get
Tan and Jewel,
but they need it. They need more athleticism there.
Yeah,
and if the young guy can pick it up,
athletic.
if the young guy can pick it up inside, finally,
I got
kind of the one weakness.
I gotta see it to believe it because I just think
goals.
The Broncos defense played great yesterday. I'm not ready to say that they're going to turn into some top defense.
Last 3 weeks
in the red zone and turned it over 4 times. Chiefs offense.
Are you going to blame it on Mahomes being sick?
No, I don't want to hear any of that shit because everyone talks about Jordan.
I mean, he's healthy enough to play, and you know what? It's Mahomes' fault. Him and Kelsey go to the World Series game in Texas. Where do you think he got sick at? He shouldn't be going to the World Series on a game week, on a bye week, maybe. But
I didn't even know he did that.
You didn't see me going down to Texas to see a World Series game. I want to be ready for work on Monday.
And Travis has been flying out. I mean, he's been going back earlier in the postseason for Phillies games, hanging with Jason there. So Travis has been flying all over.
Taylor Swift could have had half the team sick by now. The amount of time she showed up. They're either sick from her or sick of her.
That's the cause.
One of the fucking two. I mean, Christ.
That's what they're sick. That's why they're sick. Yeah. Fucking dude, that was oh my God.
But that had to feel great, Jimmy. I know the feeling because the Bucks did it to him winning a Super Bowl, and the feeling that probably felt good. Close to it.
That's good. I'm telling you.
And you know what?
It didn't feel real.
The Bucks held them to 9 points in the Super Bowl. The Broncos held them to 9 points yesterday. That's how you beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Don't let him score a touchdown.
Yes.
You don't let that motherfucker score a touchdown.
And they were
easier said than done.
To go for 2 or going on 4th down, whatever, man. And we actually shut the door. Let's fucking ride, baby. That was one of the dopest performances I've ever seen.
All right. That deserves a cheers, boys.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers.
Broncos beat the Chiefs. Let's ride. Cheers.
2,965 days, man. That's a lot of time.
It was a great, yes. Yeah.
It was a lot of time before beers.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Before we get on to the next game, Jimmy, do you think they can turn the tables on them and beat them the next 15 times?
If we're we won't do it 15. We'll do it 7. We'll do it the right way.
You'll get it all the way there. You'll get the record.
On the record.
When they trade for Kyler Murray,
I'm going to stop at the finish line and shake hands with the guys. Get the fuck out of here.
That'd be interesting.
We're going to take the record.
Right? That'd be interesting.
We're getting better. Sean Payton put his stamp on the league and showed everyone, hey, I'm actually here. There's no more. I'm sick of people.
He's still the guy.
Whatever. We're going in the right direction.
And you really could see it. You really could see it. Even in the first quarter yesterday of the Broncos Chiefs game, the defense that has been kind of lackluster up to this point, the defense was pumped up. Sean Payton had everybody on notice. Yeah. They were ready to go. They were making plays, and they were getting fired up about it every time they'd make a play. You could tell they expected to win when the Chiefs came into the stadium. And I love to see it. It was you could tell Sean Payton had the guys ready to go.
Well, and nice. they only lost by 6 when we played them at Arrowhead, and that was on a Thursday night game. So it's they knew, man, they barely got us. Now we got a full week, plus we got that game for prep. We know what they're doing. Let's go. And they did it. So yeah, hopefully it's a blueprint for the other teams that are going to be competing with them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because the Bengals actually looked fucking like the playoff Bengals we've come to know.
Yeah. And honestly, that's a good segue. And I think for a team like the Bengals defense, that same blueprint that the Broncos laid out will work unless the Chiefs are able to have somebody else emerge. Like I said earlier, if that's all the Chiefs got and they have to play the Bengals in the playoffs, I don't care if it's in Arrowhead. Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be able to do much.
I know we want to move to Cincinnati, but look at that secondary. That's one thing that people don't Denver has a lot of talent back there. Not every team has that ability to put a safety or a corner on Travis and force them to Cole.
With the Bengals, two safeties, they're kind of unknowns, right? Because Jesse Bates and Von Bell left in the offseason. So we don't really know if the Bengals safeties are up to it or if they're going to make enough mistakes to let a quarterback like Mahomes beat them. We don't know yet.
We also got to talk about, all right, so last week I'm watching NFL Network, and at the bottom it says the Chiefs trade for Mecole Hardman. And I had just been talking on this a couple weeks before how he was one of the douchier guys because, like, he showed up when he played for the Jets. I think, did he get traded to the Jets? Or
Yep. That's where
the Chiefs got him back from.
It had to have been on Hard Knocks then. And it's funny because on Hard Knocks, he shows up rocking like 5 chains. It was like you would have thought he was Travis Kelce or Mahomes walking in.
Yeah, or at least a number one receiver.
Tyreek.
Or had a 1,000-yard season at least.
Something. And so then to get traded back, and it was like, oh, yeah, all right, I'm going to be back. I don't know how he talks. He's probably like, yes, sir, I'm going to be back in here in KC. And for him to fumble that ball, like they're all thinking, like, we got our security blanket back there. We know this guy. It's like Randall Cobb or something in Green Bay. You know, like, all right, we got reliability. And he fucking stoinks one, dude. Oh, it was so
I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, when you do something bad, and I'm sure we all do it, and we like tap ourselves on the chest like, oh, that's my bad. But when you muff a punt on the 5-yard line and you run to the sideline going, that's my bad. I just don't think that's the time for it. Like, everybody knows it's your fucking bad, dude. You just fucked up.
You have no way to get that back.
You just fucked up big time. Like, it's not like, oh, my bad situation. You should have your head down, or you should just be running to the sideline trying to get off the camera. Because that's not a pat myself on the chest, my bad scenario. That's what you shouldn't be able to. There should be a threshold to when that's allowed. The my bad thing. That's just how I feel.
There's a lack of mental strength in that facility, man. Because listen, they all go over to Daddy. And they want Patty to be like, okay, now I feel bad for him too. I feel bad for him too. I got to go out and make a play now. And then he turns into Batman, throwing left-handed and shit. And but. That's a bitch move. Rocking all those chains, you don't come off the field. You don't. First of all, if you're gonna wear that much ice or whatever the hell, go watch Hard Knocks. It was one of the episodes early on with A-Rod because after he got hurt, I stopped watching it at the end of it. So, but dude, if you're gonna wear that many chains, you better be able to be that guy. Then don't be the guy that gets traded there. And the first week, they're like, Sky Moore, no more punt returns or whatever. We're giving it to this dude. No fair catch. I got it, coach. Boom. Right on. What, it hit his knee?
It hit him in the stomach, basically. I mean, he tried to basket catch it.
Such an easy thing.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
I mean, I might drop 3 out of 5
I mean,
of them.
you could probably,
but I don't practice it every week
NFL
either.
Players. Yeah.
I could do it.
I guarantee you I could catch a good percentage of them. I just don't feel like it's that hard to fucking catch a football, man.
I don't know. With a bunch of dudes running at you.
11 dudes running full speed at you.
I can tell you firsthand.
Well, more than that, I guess.
Well, man. I mean,
I went to one of those NFL simulators one time.
In that case, though, he's fair catching it on the 6-yard line or whatever it was. Right. Why not just let that ball go?
That's what
what advantage do you gain even by trying to return it for 2 or 3 yards?
And you haven't moved
that you're going to get.
You haven't moved the ball all afternoon. Like, where do you think? What do you?
How about this too? If it's your bad, Mecole, why not make another play in the game that I even noticed? Because I didn't notice him making a single other play in the game.
Like 20 yards,
12 yards total. Yeah, something like that.
Man, fuck. Yeah. I mean. I'm glad I have Butt Kiss as a kicker on fantasy because that's worked.
They're going to settle for a lot of field goals.
Yeah, and he had 9 yesterday. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, and, I'll take that.
And like Mahomes made his fair share of mistakes, but I can't really put this like season how they look on Mahomes. I just think they need somebody else that can fucking get open. And Rashee Rice is the closest I've seen that can do that. But they're in trouble. I think they're in trouble, man.
Do they trade for somebody?
Let me tell you.
I think.
They make
What
a
about
move?
you know who I thought about, Brad? What if the Chiefs trade for a guy like, and this is in division, so the Raiders might just say "fuck you." But what about Hunter Renfrow? Even a guy like Hunter Renfrow, somebody else that can get open, in the intermediate routes, he would help them.
I
don't
feel
know
like
if the
they gotta
Raiders
make
would
a
trade
move,
him.
right?
They should be trying.
Surpass them.
They should be
They're not
trying.
trading in division.
No, I agree with that. They're not going in division. Because I heard today on the radio, somebody's like, yeah, Jerry Jeudy make a ton of sense to the Chiefs. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That'll
We
happen.
talked about it yesterday. I'm like, yeah, there's no.
Like, get
I'm
the
not
fuck
fucking
out of
giving
here.
that up.
Yeah, but then if you throw out the guys like like Devontae again doesn't make sense because it's in division. But like Mike Evans, say if the Bucks were worse, the Chiefs can't even really pull that deal for Mike Evans because
the Bucks
contract.
are that bad. Like they could. Like
No,
that would be a.
You don't trade away a franchise fucking. You don't trade away your best receiver ever.
Von Miller.
No, dude.
Von Miller.
But you traded him away to the Bills, and it's when you were already like super bad.
Yeah.
Didn't
Evans is slowing down a little bit.
I still love Mike Evans way too much.
We all love Von Miller,
Yeah.
but he's slowed down. He can't even play half the snaps yet. He's slowly starting again.
And honestly, I just don't know if he's Mike Evans is such a kind of like toss it up to him guy. I don't even know if he's the right guy to get open because he doesn't really get totally
he'd be
open.
terrible with Patrick Mahomes rolling around and just throw it up to him. That would be terrible.
My thing is,
it'd be like the NFL version of Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, it'd be like Johnny Manziel back in fucking college.
This is my issue with the Brady and Mahomes argument because, like, anytime, like, we never talked about Brady needing a guy. He never had
late in his career. We started to. Late in his career, we started to.
And when he had guys, he didn't win with them. He had Moss, they didn't win. You know what I mean? Like those times he didn't win. When he had the two with the killer,
he makes it work with Amendola.
Exactly.
He makes it work with Wes Welker.
Yes.
He made it work with
you
fucking.
Don't need guys.
What were those two?
God. You don't need guys.
He made it work with Patton and what's that guy's Deion Branch.
Yeah,
Deion Branch. Didn't Deion Branch win a Super Bowl MVP?
Troy Brown.
But we're talking
Troy Brown.
Like really.
But more you think Wes and Edelman.
Something
are guys that he made. That anywhere else they weren't.
Wes, Edelman, Amendola, those type of guys.
Terry Glenn.
The Chiefs don't have even one of those guys.
No.
They really don't.
No, that's what Andy Reid.
But clearly none of those guys have a grasp of that, like the same skill that Edelman Welker had. No one on that Chiefs team clearly
quick,
has that.
shifty option route, like get open guy.
They do,
and that's who they should have found in the draft. You can find those guys.
I think they have those guys and they do it faster.
It's a hard offense.
They don't do it better. They don't do it. They don't know everything and know how to read what's going on. They just think speed's going to kick in.
They got a portion of the playbook.
It's a smart. Yeah, but you need to be smart.
Well, it's not even a smart thing. It's about taking the time to let you get smart, learn, spend time reading it, not just know I have Mahomes, he can improv. So if I know where I'm going on one play or two plays, I can just run around and he'll know what to do.
Yeah.
That's not the way it works. You got to
I would counter that with maybe Rashee Rice should stay late at practice with Mahomes and practice all these option routes. And
you want to get him on the jugs machine?
But Mahomes is down in Texas watching the World Series.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. He's got a photo shoot.
So how about that? Tom Brady would not be down watching the World Series in the middle of a game.
World Series will be done in a week.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift goes on her world tour in 2 weeks. She starts in Brazil, right?
What?
Do the Chiefs get better once all the distractions end?
Who the hell cares?
I don't think that, but the distractions don't seem like they're going away.
Kelsey's terrible when she's not around. He was terrible last week.
Yeah. Do you think
terrible when she's not around?
You think
you better be there for the playoffs? That's all I'm saying.
No, she's going to be touring for the next year.
I know.
You think Taylor Swift does Taylor Swift's tour line up in Germany where she can see the Dolphins?
She starts in South America,
Germany.
She starts in South America,
opposite hemispheres. Ooh, that's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, a lot of Germans snuck away to South America. So
supposedly, yeah, a bunch of Nazis did escape to Argentina. Yeah, I have heard about all that.
They allow her music in Germany.
There's like German villages in Argentina from escaping from World War II.
No, I just didn't know they allow her music in Germany. That's
Taylor Swift is allowed in every country except North Korea.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought Taylor Swift. I'm so out of touch with pop music. I thought Taylor Swift was like done like 5 years ago, and now she's like the hottest thing going. I don't even understand.
Capital One commercial brought her back. The credit card commercial. I don't know anything about her music, but
nothing has made me feel on the upside of 30 more than this Taylor Swift shit.
On the
I
Mahomes
just don't
thing,
give a shit.
He was at the World Series game. When was that?
I think it had to be Thursday night, right? Wasn't that game one? Thursday night.
What rooting in did they go to?
I mean, Mahomes went to Texas Tech, so maybe he's a Rangers fan.
He's a Texas guy, isn't he?
His dad played for the Rangers at one point, I think.
Makes sense.
Okay,
so maybe
he probably grew up around him.
Right on.
Still a bad call. You got to prepare.
Talk about taking a team too lightly.
You
though.
do it when it's in your it's convenient. Like you do it because it's like, oh shit.
Well,
but if they were playing Cincinnati that week instead of Denver, I bet he doesn't go to the game.
Yeah, maybe he was like, "Fuck it, this is Denver. We got these guys."
And I think they caught them.
They didn't.
I love it.
Yeah. So
I wish Jason would have been there, dude. All right, baby.
We got to get
that dumbass mom and that.
Let's at least talk about one other game, right?
Yeah, we got to at least get to another game or two, guys.
Push didn't work.
Well,
I don't. Yeah, but I don't want to go to Eagles Commanders yet. It was good to see it stopped.
No, it wasn't. I got hurt.
It was good to see it stopped. But let's talk about Burrow.
Draft picks.
Let's talk about Burrow and the Bengals first, because Burrow gets a big win against the Niners, and more than just the win against the Niners, I thought Burrow looked like 100% back to himself. I mean, there was one sack he escaped where it looked like the Eli Manning, David Tyree play in the Super Bowl. And it was almost like even more impressive because Burrow's a lot quicker than Eli. So it took like more agility to get out of that sack than it took Eli on the David Tyree play. But I thought it was great to see Burrow back. He went 28 for 32 against what we thought was one of the better defenses. And I got to fess up. I said the Bengals looked bad. I was kind of ready to get off of them this year. I thought it looked worse than their bad starts the last couple of seasons, and I was starting to give up, and Burrow's got me all the way back in. I think they have as good of a chance as any other team to win the AFC and go to the Super Bowl. I'm down on the Chiefs. There's no team there's really no team I'd worry about as much as the Bengals.
I thought you were going to say there's no team you wouldn't cheer for, but
there's the Chargers sitting there though, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I would cheer for the Chargers.
Well, you know that.
But I won't say there's no team I believe in as much as the Chargers to go to the Super Bowl because I haven't seen it. I've seen it with the Bengals.
The Herbert fate is like a little bit faded right now, or like
they're coming off a big Sunday night football.
Burrow comes in hot, like Mahomes and him.
It's either Burrow, Herbert.
Now we gotta get the other. Yeah,
the trio, the trifecta.
It's cyclical.
Burrow, Herbert, Mahomes. That is the trifecta.
Octofecta.
Yeah,
I'll take you to the octofecta. This is Matt Pick'em for week 8. We do.
Is San Francisco falling apart? This was kind of a big game for both teams. 3 straight for Cincy to win, 3 straight losses for San Fran.
I'm not going to get too worried about the Niners yet, just because the NFC impresses me so little that I think by the time the playoffs start, there's not many teams in the NFC I'm going to pick to beat the Niners.
Yeah.
Even if the Seahawks kind of edge them and win the NFC West, I'd still have more faith in the Niners making a playoff run than the Seahawks.
Even with them adding Leonard Williams?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good ad. I like the ad, but I would still trust the Niners and all the skill guys they got and the defense. I would trust their defense
matching up with that receiving core. Because, I mean, they got 3.
If they go head-to-head, there's a shot, and the Seahawks know them well. So a head-to-head matchup is a little bit different, Brad. But overall I would trust the Niners. Getting to the NFC Championship game more than the Seahawks, because I could see the Seahawks losing to a wild card team. And
Broncos beat the Chiefs. Fucking right.
we got away from it for 5 minutes, and Jimmy's like, you know what?
I just keep thinking, I'm like, man, whatever.
We literally replaced the Bucks with the Broncos.
You might have to now, baby. We got
dude,
powerhouse here.
I think that's the first time somebody else has mentioned the Bucks before me on any episode ever.
You brought up Mike Evans already, though. So
that's true.
I don't think I brought him up either.
Yes, you did.
What are you talking about? We just talked about
our drunk host.
I did.
Yeah, there's our host.
I did not bring that up.
All right. So Bengals looked impressive. Back to the AFC, just because I'm actually more interested in all these AFC teams than the NFC, where it seems the Eagles are just a powerhouse. The Jags. I want to talk about the Jags. What do you got, Jimmy?
Well, all right. I was going to throw out a funny thing I saw on Sunday. Right when the Giants were playing the Jets, and the Giants at the end of the game get a pick against the Jets, and they're in field goal range, and then they get a closer field goal, and they miss the field goal. Before that happens, when the turnover happened, they show a Jets fan in a poncho rocking a Aaron Rodgers jersey, getting poured on. Like drenched, and he's walking out in a clear poncho, so you can see right through, and you can see the Rodgers jersey, and it's like, God, that guy's having a bad year so far. And and then we were laughing.
Do you think he makes it out of the stadium before they make the field goal and gets the turnaround?
Dude, so we're laughing.
You don't think so?
Well, it was like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
it might have been. He might have been as he was.
I don't think so,
but I don't think so either, because he was out.
He was definitely on like the train, looking at it on his phone.
Yeah, saying, like, imagine him running back in, tripping over the
or like walking home in the rain, because he might be walking home. It's New York, right?
Right, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking. He's got at least an hour commute, probably.
Yeah, and
the poncho guy was a classic.
That's tough. And like quick
poncho guy,
quick shout out to that Giants Jets game, because Tyrod Taylor goes out with the injury, and the Giants bring in Tommy DeVito. And immediately I'm like, no way his name is Tommy DeVito. That's Joe Pesci's character's name in Goodfellas, which is a movie I've probably seen as much as any other movie. I've probably seen it like 100 times. And Tommy DeVito in Goodfellas is at quarterback for the Giants. There's no way he's on that roster if his name's not Tommy DeVito. That's all I got to say.
That Catching Gotti or whatever just came out on Netflix. They brought him up again in that. Yeah, Tommy DeVito gets brought up multiple times.
Yeah, so. I didn't even know he was based on a true person.
He's a real person.
I just know him from Goodfellas.
Yeah. Well, on the trivia that one time I had the question: what year do they flash back or like flash to when they're?
Yeah, vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I didn't even know we had a flashback argument. Was it a flashback or?
Yeah, it was hard to determine what you call that. Yeah, but it was.
Matt didn't like it. Yeah.
I was right. But yeah, I didn't even know what his last name would have been. Like, I would have known DeVito.
Frank and Tommy DeVito.
That's fine.
Is what it is. Yeah. Old Frankie and Tommy.
Tommy D.
What are you gonna steal money from what's his fucking name? Jimmy?
Let's close it out real quick with some meaningful teams. And we do got to make this quick.
What do you mean?
But the Jags win against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Big win for the Jags. Jags are on a win streak here. You got 4 AFC teams that are 6-2. You got the Jags, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and your Ravens, Brad. Who would you pick to win the 1 seed right now? Because I'm leaning Jags just because that easy division. I could see the Jags pumping out a bunch of wins in that easy AFC South and getting the 1 seed. And for your Ravens, it's a tougher road because you got
that's a tough. Yeah, no, you're probably right. Yeah, because literally they went into Pittsburgh, beat Pittsburgh at their own game. Nasty fucking rain, cold wind. They just were better. I mean, I don't know how people think the Steelers are still a good team.
They got lucky so many times.
They have
this
TJ
year.
Watt, who's amazing, but they can't stop anybody on defense, and their run game is atrocious.
Travis
Like
Etienne's like the best.
Najee had 7 for 13. Jalen Warren had 5 for 19. In
Neither
a game
one
where
of
they
them
should have
got
just
it done.
dominated on the ground.
Yeah.
And instead,
We're under
ETN.
a minute here, boys, too. Like getting closer.
Yeah.
Trying to cut you off.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's a wreck. I like Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean that's a sneaky like pick. Jacksonville to have the best record in the AFC. You wouldn't expect it, but with the
A weather
divisional
advantage.
matchups and all
It'll
that,
be hot. It'll
All
be
right.
hot down there.
close it out, Jimmy. Big cheers to those Broncos.
We got it done. Let's go, baby. Cheers. Hey, go Broncos. Let's ride.
Hey, let's ride.